Everybody that's joining us from afar. Hi, Joseph. We have one commissioner here on joining us from afar and some staff, so we're happy about that. So I want to call the July 13th meeting to order. It's a little bit after 7. Let's stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sal?
Father God, thank you once again for entrusting us with your town. I ask you to give us your wisdom and discernment and help us make decisions this evening that are best for our town citizens. Put a hedge of protection around our staff and our fire department and our police department. May we honor you in all we say this evening. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Sal. All right. Elise?
Okay, roll call. Commissioner Ramos,
Present.
Commissioner Polland,
Here.
Commissioner McMullen,
Present.
Vice Mayor Satterfield,
Present.
and Mayor Stark. Welcome back.
Thank you. Here. So at this point, the next thing on the agenda is the public forum. We have public forum for anyone here who wishes to speak on something that is not already on the agenda. We ask that you keep your comments brief and that you sign in on the sign-up sheet if you do speak. I think I know why all of you are here, so we're good. Next item is consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to pull out and talk about?
I got one thing on page 14 on the teacher PTO pay policy. In the recommendation, and it says upon completion of each school year, any balance of 3 or more PTO days will be paid out in full. There should be up to 3 days, not 3 days and above. 3 days, it says 3 days or more. It should be up to 3 days.
Good catch.
Yep.
We can still move on it as long as we
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
state the,
No, wait. It's correct. Read it again.
Okay, the recommendation says allow for instructional staff to receive full payout of any unused PTO up to 3 days. 3 days was determined as the best approach to supporting work-life balance by promoting use of at least 2 personal days per year. On completion of each year, any balance of 3 or more PTO days will be paid out in full.
No, you're right. Okay. The policy's correct. The recommendation needs adjusted. Okay.
so we can still move on that as long as we call out the correction. Correct?
That would be my recommendation.
We should have a motion and a second in order to pull that from the consent agenda. And then vote on it separately with the correction.
Oh, okay.
That'd be the
We can do
that'd be
that.
the best way to handle
All right. Well, that's why you're here.
Thank you.
So why don't we do that first is I need a motion to take that separately out of the consent agenda and then we'll deal with that second.
All right, I'll make a motion to pull the Oakland Avenue school teacher pay policy out of the consent agenda and vote on that as a separate matter.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we have any questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, everything on the consented. I'm sorry, Joseph. Aye for you too.
Yes, said aye.
All right. So then we will take that item and make a motion to, if it up or down and to amend it to read correctly.
Do we want to vote on balance of the consent agenda first.
Oh, wait a minute, we didn't vote?
No, we haven't voted on the ballot.
Oh.
I'll
It's
make,
been a while.
you're rusty. We're gonna give it to you.
All right, so for the consent agenda, we had a motion and a second, correct?
No, we had a motion and a second to pull the teacher pay policy out of it.
Oh, okay.
So now I'll make the motion to accept the balance of the consent agenda as presented, minus the teacher pay policy.
Thank you.
Second,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions, any comments? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Now we discuss the one thing that we pulled out.
the PTO pay policy.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the PTA pay policy with the changes in the recommendation to reflect it's up to 3 days of PTO will be paid out in full.
Second.
Second, are you satisfied with
I
that?
am satisfied. Thank you.
Okay. So it's been moved, it's been seconded. Any questions, any comments? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Joseph?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. All right, moving on. Let's see if I can do the next thing properly. Discussion of additional playground features. Or we could head it, no good deed goes unpunished.
Now.
I know.
You're not out of practice.
Yeah, not in that part.
All right, I'll keep this short, but basically the purpose of the presentation is just to give an update on Spear Park and to bring up for discussion some additional, call them fitness centers that could be added to Spear Park to enhance the new playgrounds. So just a little background, the new playgrounds were installed and were open to the public on June 23rd, 2021. I've seen quite a few people out there enjoying the new playgrounds. The existing swing was repainted, a border put up and new mulch put down. So we've also enhanced the swings that are out there. There's, I believe, 4 regular swings and 2 kiddie swings that are on it now. Sidewalk improvements were actually being done today. They were pouring concrete out there. So the parking lot near the tennis courts is now connected to the tennis courts. And then there is a walkway to the swing set now to get you over to the swing set. So that all was accomplished today. And then permanent signs have been ordered to indicate the appropriate ages for the playgrounds, just for a risk management situation. There are signs out there right now. One of the playgrounds is for 2 to 5 and the other playgrounds for 5 to 12. So once those signs are in, Mike will have those installed. So here's some pictures of the playgrounds. I think the biggest feature of the playgrounds, they're nice playgrounds, a lot of stuff to climb on. And then we've got the poured in place, the rubberized surface that's underneath the playgrounds. I think that's going to be a fabulous add to these playgrounds as far as the maintenance of them, keeping them clean, making them safe for the kids. And then you can see the swing sets with the mulch and the border around it. And like I said, we've connected it by a sidewalk now to the walking path through the park. So that you've got a great situation with the swing set. I had brought up in the past, talking about once we got the playgrounds in and once we saw where we were with the budget, that we would, come back and talk about considering doing some additional activity centers, fitness centers, things that would be in line with the playground. So what we did is we got in contact with Game Time. We had some proposals that they had done some years ago for the charter school. We took those proposals and had them do them in the colors. And it's in the agenda package. Had them do them in the colors that matches up with the playground. And just to give some ideas of what we could do, some additional enhancements that we could do to the playgrounds. And so here's what that would like. And the next slide also has just a different view. The proposal that we got, the cost is $55,000. That's how they would line up, and they'd be just just west of the current playgrounds. There's a space there, an open space that we could do this particular setup. The cost that we got is $55,000 for those 3 items. Where we're at budget-wise, after we finish the tennis courts and after we finish the playgrounds, we had $185,000 budget for the playgrounds and I believe $80,000 in for the tennis courts. After both those projects have been completed and the sidewalk, there's about $40,000 left in the budget. I could come back and we could add a little bit of money to the budget. We can go ahead and order this equipment now. Or we could include it as part of the phase 3 project next year and order it in the fall. Because we're also looking to do the pavilion and the junior basketball court next year. So it's either, so that's really the basis of the discussion. Do we want to move forward with some additional playground equipment? And do we want to order it now? Or do we want to order it in the fall with the rest of the phase 3 things that I'll be bringing forward as part of the budget?
I have a question before.
Absolutely. Yes. Presentation.
Do we have shade covers on this or
Not yet.
not? Is that part of,
That's part of, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's part of the discussion that would go with the phase 3. We did not have shade covers as part of this project of
Okay.
playgrounds in. We can get some, as part of the discussion with the budget for next year with the phase 3 improvements. We can include shade covers. We can get some quotes on what it would cost and decide whether those fit into the budget or not. But no, those have not been included as part of the project as of yet.
okay, do you have any like real ballpark, not to be held to numbers?
Well, if you take into consideration the one that we installed at the charter school, 4 years ago, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago, that was 100,000 for just that shade structure. And keep in mind the maintenance of, every time a storm comes through, you have to take it down, to a certain level. We had started a shade study in-house. And right now what we're seeing is there's natural shade there.
I was going to say, there's a lot of trees though, right?
Yeah, sort of. We had to remove a diseased one. So I think between 11 and 3, we're kind of shade shy right now, but we have planted new trees and we'll see.
That was my next question is we're going to landscape it up.
Yeah, they've already put some new trees in there.
And I haven't been out there, so.
So there are some trees out there that have been planted. Again, that's probably 5 to 7 years before you get them big enough to have enough shade. And we can, as part of like the phase 3, look at doing some shade sales. You don't have to necessarily have to do the big shade structures. There are smaller versions, but you're still probably talking tens of thousands of dollars when you get into that. But we can work on getting some quotes so that if we go through the budget process, that could be something that could be considered.
I mean, I'm all for purdying up anything, but with a plant. But as far as finishing this off, the 55, we have 40, we need 55. I'd rather just get it done this year.
Before we move, I'm with you. Before we move on to that, let me comment on the sales. I had brought it up to them originally as we walked the park over the last couple of weeks. My personal opinion is it's not an extra. It is almost a necessity in the experience with the parks with the kids growing up. They move from park to park depending on the ones that actually have the shade to them. If they don't have shade to them, they're so hot, the kids can't slide down them. That's what I said. So we really need to look hard. That's why I had asked let's look and see exactly where that shade goes, because I've been trying to figure it out too. But if there's not shade over that thing, those kids aren't going to play on it because they're going to get burned on those them slides and stuff. So we need to look really hard at somehow to do that.
Do we have shade in Pollard Park?
No, there is no shade other than the natural. And that's just along the fence line on the east side.
Well, I'm really happy with what we have out there now. I take my kids, I enjoy it. I love that poured rubberized, in place. I do jumping jacks when my kids are on it, but yes, they can't get on it while it's hot.
I gotta tell you, I ain't doing the jumping jack, so.
On the rubberized floor, it's good.
I just,
You knock yourself out.
Yeah, but for sure, if we don't figure out eventually some shade,
mhm.
it's not gonna work. I mean,
But while we do this, you know, I don't want to leave Pollard Park out if we don't have shade at Pollard Park.
No. So just maybe we just get some prices and look at it and do some of those triangular sales, you know, that you see over pools and stuff like that, that might be a little bit cheaper, at least for the interim type stuff. So.
Absolutely. So what we can do is I've got a placeholder and we're going to talk budget at the next meeting on the 27th. Between now and when we come back with the final budget in September, we can make adjustments and we'll see what the cost is on sales structures, both here and at Pollard Park. And then I can present that to you and we can add that to the budget if that's.
and because we have trees, we don't need to really spend that much if we analyze.
I was
what
gonna say maybe sales.
But I'm surprised we didn't even put trees on the other park, Pollard Park, because we've had plenty of years since we put that, 6 years ago, 5.
Yeah, but that was paid for by,
The kaboom, right?
it's a kaboom.
Correct.
So,
We did put trees on that park. I think there are 3 or 4 trees on that. And they're grown in very nicely now, but
It does take a while,
the
so.
playground does not have shade.
and then we had a benefactor who came in and did some extra work to that park.
That's another thing that happens to the playgrounds in the sun. If you wait for the trees 5-10 years from now, that playground is gonna be around already.
Right, the playground, the trees will be there, the playground will be gone. But but I also want to say that the staff has done a very, very good job of doing what we set out to do, taking the input and of the people who live here. And we did what we said we were going to do. So we just, you know, it's like when you build a house, you stand back and you go, maybe we should have thought of this. Or maybe, you know, and that's all it is. And that rubber flooring or whatever it is, that makes all the difference in the world.
It makes it really nice, really safe, and the maintenance for staff to come in and blow it off. You know, staff's really doing a great job on the maintenance side of things with the tennis courts and you know, keeping things, you know, cleaned up and blown off, so.
And I'm going to let other people talk. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to talk in a couple months. The only other thing, and this is way down the road, is there is where my daughter lives, there's an amazing park with these kinds of structures, and they have a little zip line. It is the cutest thing you've ever seen. So, you know, in years future, that would be really cool to look at.
Yeah, zip lines are pretty.
It looks to me, from a layperson's point of view, very safe.
Till they get to the end.
Yeah. No, the little kids, the kids.
The ends of the tree.
Just love it. Yeah, let me hit the tree.
We have one at the park at Pollard,
Yeah.
The line?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the zip line thing, they like that, the little round thing that they can, a couple of kids can get on, that's like a net thing that's a swing that 2 kids can get on. They really love that too. There's a couple of things that, you know, as we go through, we can add on, but please don't mistake anything that, like Kathy, that I'm saying for criticism, because I think that is a perfect, what you guys have accomplished in that park is just, it's wonderful. It's aesthetically, you know, I live right there. So I have to look at it every day. It looks great. Kids love it. It's got everything we need. But, you know, like I say, when you build, when Kathy says you build it and go, well, maybe we can, or maybe, you know, and you do them tweaking, but you did a wonderful job. Like you really did.
It's like the
There's-
monkey bars, you know?
Yeah.
We should put the monkey bars. There they come. Little by little, it's gonna become really nice.
So I have the full catalog, but you know, we, like I said, we based this off of what a proposal they'd done for the charter school. If you're good with the items that we picked, we've got the quote for it. We can just go ahead and move forward with that. I will bring a budget amendment to fill that gap on the funding, but We've got.
We've got it.
These-
We may as well do it.
Enhancements to the park, so.
What do you guys think? Me and Kathy kind of did a lot of.
Well, we got to vote.
Yeah, I
Vote
like
on
to vote for
spending money.
spending money to move.
And I want to hear, I want to make sure Rick really didn't get to weigh in
Right.
and Joseph needs, an opportunity to. Rick, do you have?
I mean, I agree with everything they're saying, the shade. I just, as far as waiting till the fall and the third stage, is there a benefit to waiting and doing it all at one time rather than like doing this now and then the other stuff later? Or?
I don't think there's necessarily a benefit. I think Game Time will, there's going to be a lead time to order this stuff anyways. So if we order it now, it'll probably be a couple months before it comes in. We can look at the shade sales. We've got a pavilion and we've got the shade sales that we're talking about. So we can kind of combine those two into, part of that phase 3 project. Because the phase 3, we're looking at the butterfly garden, the junior basketball court and the pavilion, and then just any additional sidewalk to tie it all together. So I don't know that it matters.
So logistically, it won't be in the way of any equipment or anything for.
I don't think so.
No. Steve, we had a comment from the.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on one second. I just got to see if Joseph has anything at the table.
Oh,
Joseph?
nothing to add. I mean, nothing to add. I was just going to ask the same question that Commissioner Pollan asked, so nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now,
So John Struzalka from EG3. I'm not a citizen of the town of Oakland, but we are working on the proposal for the Kitty Academy. Adjacent to the property, to the building, we have a 5,600 square foot outdoor play area for the kids. And it's separated by age groups, similar to what you're describing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with your park, but one of the vendors that we use, it's a national vendor for the daycare. There's about 280 locations nationwide. They provide sales structures, permanent shade structures. We're saving some of the big oak trees for some natural shade, but DCF requires those coverages over there. So between the playground equipment and shade structures, I think there could be, in terms of timing, could be some economies of scale if you order through them, because they would both be coming to the same approximate location.
that's a good idea.
Happy to provide that information to you. If that helps.
Yeah,
Cool, thank you.
thank you.
So what I was thinking was, and listening to this, if you all were at a Mosaic and saw those little shade structures, the sales that they have over that old playground there, is that kind of what you're thinking about? Okay.
Yes, or I am. So.
I'll take a ride over and look at it.
So we'll do some research. We've got Game Time that we've been working with. So, but we'll look at the shade structures, but we can go ahead and move forward with this because we've already got the main playgrounds already up. So trying to get those economy of scales is probably not, but we've also looking at the pavilion and the shade sales. I think between the two of those, that might be something that we can work together as far as economies. So if you are, want to go ahead and move forward with this, we can do that as part of the playground package. And then we'll work on the shade sales and the pavilion
All
as a
right.
package.
I need a motion if we're going to spend some money, and then we'll vote on it again when you amend the budget.
I'll make the motion to spend the money on the monkey bars for the action of additional playground. I don't know, there's no.
As discussed.
Fitness centers.
As discussed.
Yes.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do I have any further questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now I do have a question that is not necessarily related, that I want to generate a lot of discussion, but pickleball has it quieted down so that they're not playing early in the morning?
I haven't had any more complaints about noise, but I do know there's been a lot of people using it.
That's a popular thing.
I gotta tell you, I never would have guessed.
Somebody was telling me there's a pickleball club here in town now.
Well, that's great. I was going to say in Winter Garden, there's a big pickleball, but that's starting to become the amenity of choice in 55 and over developments, like the Villages and.
Down south, 30, 40-year-olds, they have their tournaments. They actually have cross the country tournaments in pickleball now.
Wait, where did, I mean, has pickleball been around and it just got popular, or is it new?
I just met it and I love it. And I go with my family there and I make it a night and bring drinks and cheese and
Oh, well,
we hang out.
the right way.
Oh, drinks and cheese, don't matter what you're playing.
Actually, for result that one of my neighbors said, one's not going to be enough, you're going to need three.
Yeah, we said that too, I think.
I did have a request from one of my neighbors. They asked if we could put a squeegee on the pickleball court and the tennis court. I guess to get some puddles of waters every once in a while, so we could.
Commissioner, we already have them on order.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
That's a great.
Awesome. Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Next item. We ready? FLC Florida League of Cities 95th Annual Conference Voting Delegate.
Yeah, so the Florida League of Cities is just requesting the town of Oakland to designate an official to be the voting delegate at the Florida League of Cities Annual Conference. It's required by the bylaws of the Florida League of Cities.
Joseph, do you have any desire to be doing that? I know you're going to be there, or do you think somebody else should do it? I don't know who else is going.
Yeah, it all depends on who's going to attend. So,
I can't commit to anything right now. So Sal's got his hand up. So would you prefer, since you're going to have a lot of things going on, would you prefer that somebody else be the voting delegate, or would you like to be the voting delegate?
it doesn't matter to me. If Sal's going to be there and he wants to be the voting delegate, yeah. Because I'll be a part of different committees as well. So
Well, I
I'm
think
cool
that's
with that.
good to get more people involved. Don't you?
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Joseph.
Okay, we need
Oh, no.
You need to vote on it.
Yep.
plenty of work to go around, right, Joseph?
Trust me, yes.
All right, do we need a motion?
Yes.
Make a motion to appoint Commissioner Ramos as the Florida League of Cities 95th Annual Conference voting delegate.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions, any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Kitty Academy, approval of architectural elevations and site plans. Bless you.
Something in front of my eyes that I can read. I'm having a tough time today. Yeah, I can't even see that screen.
You got a long way to go too, Jeff.
Yeah, you're only 60 now, right?
All right, all right.
I'm close, but not quite yet.
You can't believe you guessed it right.
James fault.
Moving along.
All right. Oh, I did use big font. Okay, well, we have before us today the Kitty Academy. ARB has already reviewed this, and that's why I was looking for my little fun, larger font so I could actually remember the date. Also, nothing is coming to my mind now. ARB, I know we took a look at it. I believe it was the beginning of June. Yes, June 1st. Took a look at the architectural elevations as well as some look into the site plan for them. But we have, well, we can go back. Might as well make this formal. EG3 development. Oh, sorry. I'm messing with the lease right now. EG3 Development LLC is the applicant / owner of the property. The parcel is about 3.5 acres. This is the parcel that sits right on the municipal line between Ware Garden and Oakland on the south side of 50. It is currently zoned C1 and it is within the urban corridor. The building is going to be approximately 12,045 square feet, plus or minus inches here. Next, please. Actually, read that out loud. Okay, the applicant is seeking approval from the town for their architectural elevations as well as for their site plan for the site. Again, it's approximately a 12,000 square foot building that will be going up. We have been working with the owner for well over a year, so we're well into the process, and they've done a very good job of following our guidance and working through the process with us. There will be some future commercial development, which you'll see on the site plans as we click on a little bit here, that will be taking place to the west of this particular property. On the right. What happened?
Sorry, I was just reading.
Okay. I thought it was me. I'm like, is there what? Take a look on the right-hand side, and the reddish, pinkish to me, might be red. That is actually the site. The property directly to the west will also be for some future commercial development, not with this particular developer. But we've been in discussions with them again for probably pretty close to a year now. Smaller version of the site, but as you can see, they have a north-south orientation of the building, with the front actually fronting on the parking lot drive or drive aisle coming through, which is really kind of functioning as a street with kind of on-street parking is almost how the design works out. They have site plan for a good portion of the rest of the site, leaving an out parcel that will be coming in for future development at a later date. Moving on to the P&Z recommendation. P&Z has recommended, when they took a look at it, they were fine with the architectural elevations. We did have a little bit of discussion here on the site plan regarding the retention pond and just a concern on safety. They recommended a 6-foot either aluminum or the vinyl chain link fence for a safety around the pond itself, kind of has its outlined.
And it's going to be black.
Black.
Thank you.
Moving on, I guess this is the right or the north elevation. I was going to say right and left as you're looking at the front of the building from the parking lot / drive aisle. There was only one other recommendation that came out of the architectural review board, and that was actually one of the staff comments, is that there would not be any spandrel glass, which is the shadow box type, and the applicant is well aware of that, and they are working with those aspects correctly. But we still made that recommendation, and we carried it through, as well as P&Z's recommendation with the chain link fence. As you see, this is the rear elevation, so this would be the area that's the playground, the side that the playground is on. So this would effectively, I guess, be the back / side of the building. And then next is the south side or south facing elevation. And then the front elevation, which would be where you would actually pull up and enter the building.
What is roll glass?
It's shadow box. I think I still included.
Like a opaque.
I may have pulled it out. Oh, no, I didn't. There it
No,
is.
it's in,
Yeah, it's where you actually have the glass pane, but it's relatively opaque, and then you shadow box in back of it, so it almost forms more like a mirror. It's not a see-through glass.
Okay,
So it's almost like a fake front.
okay, I've just never heard.
It's like a flex or a panel that they can make.
It's like, let's see, if you needed to use that wall,
to cover up a joist.
you would basically be putting a wall behind your glass.
All right,
Okay. Let me flip through where we are here. So the recommendation again of the appearance review board was for approval with the condition relating to the no use of spandrel glass, basically to be addressed during their assembly of their building permitting plans. The Planning and Zoning Commission upheld that recommendation, as well as adding the 6-foot vinyl, black vinyl chain link fence around the north and east sides, because the west side actually is going to have a lift station, so it will be fenced in itself. So just attaching kind of all that and wrapping around for safety issues on that somewhere. And staff's recommendation follows suit.
Or aluminum fence, and you just had a black.
All of them black aluminum or 6-foot chain.
What was the reasoning for dropping the Spandrel glass.
It was on the, let's see, architectural design portion of it. So one of the recommendations that Mike Morrissey had made, he just got to follow through a little bit late. We discussed it with the owners and they said they should be able to accommodate.
The applicant's fine with the glass situation?
Does, see, I had never really heard of spandrel glass. You just can't see through it. Is that
It's like
right?
almost when you picture, let's say like a high-rise building, usually you have, a footer, then you have the rest of the glass that's kind of going up to the ceiling. I've worked in a couple of buildings that have them, yes, at like hip level,
Oh, the lower portion.
but then and then again, maybe at like 6
I
or
got
7 feet where you have a 9-foot ceiling and then they.
Okay, now,
Yeah, I got it now. I see what you're saying.
They use it to cover up some of the floor joists or there's the floor level going
Yeah.
from one floor to the other. It's like a faux panel
Yeah,
glass, but it's covering the floor joist so you don't see through there.
I got you. I got you.
Use it in areas like the kitchen, so you don't see through into a kitchen or the back of the wall.
See, you ain't too old to learn something.
I actually had to look it up. Plus the diagrams.
I was gonna say, he pretty well got it spelled out if I had looked through it, I guess.
Actually, I looked it up myself and I found it.
I worked in HR, so I'm not expected to know that.
It's an office.
Cool.
I can see through the window. I'm good. That's the way I always felt about them.
There you go. Cool.
Working with the applicant for well over a year. And we had everything pretty much worked out except for that one little glitch and then the add-in from B&Z.
And we've talked through the traffic concerns.
Yeah, they've done a traffic study and so, yes.
Yeah, we had a long conversation about that. All right,
how many
Any
students
questions?
are gonna be there? How many-
Roughly it's between 180 and 200 is the max capacity, and it's drop off only, there's no stacking. Parents have to physically park, walk their children in, check them in, and then leave. And we're, I believe, how many parking spaces here? Usually in Orange County, we built about 3 per thousand. I think here we have 5.5 per thousand. So we're very over parked.
What's the hours?
7 to 4, 7 to 5, but it's very staggered. The different ages get dropped off at different hours.
Yeah, the peak times are usually between 11 and 3 o'clock.
And I know we've been through all this, but just refresher again,
Yeah.
age
it
limit.
was a while ago.
Yeah,
It's 6 months, usually to about 5 years old,
Five,
and then it's
okay.
after school for older children. But the general population is 6 to 5, 6 months to 5.
good luck with them 6 monthers.
I'll take them at that age any day.
Where else do you have locations?
This would be our 9th one in Central
Ninth?
Florida. We have Winter Park, Oviedo, Claremont, Conway, Hunters Creek, Sanford, and
Two more.
Which one's the closest one? Do you have one in Winter?
Claremont would be the closest on 27 and 50 over there. And same operator, a little bit smaller school. And then the largest school we've done is in Winter Park. We did the old Copytronics building on 1792 and converted that to a 2-story childcare.
They might need a
And
second.
that one only had 29 parking spots. 14,000.
I was gonna say, that road is a nightmare.
Yeah.
That property, we went through a major traffic study there that has probably less than half of the parking of this particular site on a major busy road, like you suggested, you say, and they have not had any stacking issues at all there.
That's great. That's good to hear.
When do you guys anticipate to break ground and turn it over?
As soon as we have a building permit,
So we're targeting December for the building permit. Hopefully
CO by this time
this
this
time
year.
next year.
Maybe for the,
The build takes about 8 months.
cool.
Any questions?
I
Parker?
just had a comment. I want to add that we have worked with the applicant for a long time. As Jeff mentioned, they are meeting our wastewater needs for the future down there. Currently, they have their construction plans in for review right now, and it's currently a private lift station, but it could be converted to a public, and it'll serve that entire region south of Highway 50. So I want to bring that to your attention. And they have, we've been in discussion with them about additional right-of-way where we can turn Catherine Ross into a four-way intersection if we want to in the future. I just thought those were important things that you needed to know.
Which way are they pulling it from?
I'm sorry.
Which way are they pulling it from? The, yeah.
The west entrance would line up with Kathleen Ross.
Yes, I guess.
I'm bringing that up. I was going to go back and say.
Sorry.
And we've spoken with FDOT to prepare that road to eventually have your light there. So it'll be built.
Yeah, they've set it up in such a way with the way that the traffic can go through there, that it'll connect with the property next door. It'll also have that connection with the Catherine Ross intersection. So it fits in all the different things that we look for with, you can see over on the left edge there. So it fits into everything that we've been working with as far as our mobility study and our design districts.
So Mike, is this lift station going to be upsized for, in case we take it over?
That's still in discussion right now. They have presented their preliminary construction plans and we're going through.
That'd definitely be a different size lift station. It's only serving them versus we're going to,
Certainly will.
okay. Good.
All right, do we have any questions, comments at the table or a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Kitty Academy approval architectural elevations of site plans with the recommendations to change the spandrel glass to glazed glass and include the fencing of the retention area with 6-foot high vinyl coated chain link or aluminum fencing.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any questions or comments at the table or from Joseph? Any questions or comments from the audience? All right, take it back to the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. All right.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you. Resolutions, resolution 2021-03.
So this is resolution 2021-03, a resolution of the town of Oakland, Florida, making findings, approving a final plat of Oakland Park Unit 6B-2 and providing an effective date. Just find this little guy.
This is 6BB.
Two.
It says 6BB
got BB on,
on purpose,
but that's okay.
under purpose,
Where does it say BB?
under purpose.
Oh,
Well, I guess B would be the second letter, so technically.
Says it right-
Sort of correct.
Says it right up there.
Again, this is the purpose of this presentation. The action that you'll be taking tonight is to approve / accept the final plat for Oakland Park Phase 6B2. Just kind of as an overview, let's go ahead and switch to that. Again, we all know who the developer is now.
You got one up there.
And see, I made another mistake. I did not clear the 6B1 to 6B2 in the presentation. The numbers are correct though. This is approximately 30.8 acres with 54 lots. So this is the third unit on the Oakland side. So we have unit 6, unit 6A, 6A1, no. 6A, 6B1, and now 6B2. Okay, there we go. I knew the numbers were coming around to count up to 3 anyway, so. As you can see, this is where we are in the process. 6B3 will be the smaller area that is labeled in very small font in the more yellow. I didn't really differentiate my colors all that well. They worked well on my screen on my computer, not so well when we get on the big monitor. But 6B2 is in between the two, and actually looking at the underlying plat, it lines up fairly well when we move on to the next slide. There we go. So as you see, I've kind of done a little graphic on this one with unit 6A, which has already been platted, didn't include the lots with that one. 6B1, and then 6B2 is highlighted in yellow and outlined in yellow. And 6B3, we have the construction plans for. This is already approved. It's moving forward. Again, it matches up very well, 54 lots. And we have the or actually we have the bonds. I included the bond estimates in the staff report. Yesterday, the bonds were dropped off to me. Those will all be delivered to the town clerk along with the Mylars, which I also had a conversation with the engineering clerk / surveyor this morning, and they're getting those prepared and ready to bring in for the appropriate signature, I should say. I can't read my own. I know there was one again, kind of infrastructure update. Water, sewer from Winter Garden streets, finishing up the construction on both of them. Thus, we have the performance bond for the completion of the construction on 6B2 with for acceptance with the final plat. Probably wind up with the same situation on 6B3, but we may be able to move forward. Quick enough or not, but before we get to final plat. But again, we have a performance bond. And the rest of that, I just kind of left through with some stuff that was on a previous presentation, but it still applies to this one as well. With regard to transparent billing, permitting with their builders, we actually added one new builder for the open side of things.
Who was that?
Now I can't remember who the builder is.
Rockwell Homes.
Rockwell Homes. Okay, yes, I know. I spent some time with their permit coordinators.
How many is that now?
We have 5 active builders.
I'm sure they can't build homes fast enough. That's not a bad position to be in.
So staff's recommendation, anyhow, is to accept or adopt resolution or accept resolution 2021-03 to approve the final plat for Oakland Park Phase 6.
And this contains all the agreements made previously. And we're not going to chop down a tree that isn't supposed to be chopped down.
They've been very good working with us on the trees. They've gone over and above in a lot of instances on saving trees that weren't originally on.
That's awesome.
So, yes, everything with these 6B2, 6B3, 6B1, they're all following with the original site plans. We are in discussion with them on phase 7. There may be some things that need to change on that, but that'll all come back through.
Yeah, and we'll definitely want to heavily advertise that.
Yes. So yeah, there are very good discussions going on with that, and it'll be positive. It'll be positive things. So, but everything's following with the original site plans.
And let me amend my statement. It's a good position for Oakland Park to be in.
We have the final legals from the surveyor, because you already have the final legals from the surveyor because you didn't have the caveat that is on the staff report.
No, they are amending they have those notes from the surveyor. They are making those amendments to the Mylar and to hard copies to be delivered.
Okay, so can we just make sure that the motion includes the caveat language so that we don't have to bring it back when the surveyor brings forth the final legals?
I thought that she delivered the amended
or amended plat, just not the Mylar, because it was being signed with all of the surveyors that reviewed it.
No, I take that back. They did send those to Randy Roberts with CPH, who is our surveyor. That is correct. Yes, she did. Everything kind of flew in on that one day. Actually, as I was probably writing the staff report, I remember Randy Roberts had sent me remaining comments. I had forwarded those to the surveyor. They had immediately responded back, sent me an email copy, as well as sent a copy to Randy Roberts for review, and that's what they're preparing my letters from. So the comments have been addressed, but they can be, actually, I didn't itemize that was what the comments were.
So you have all the surveyor comments back.
Yes. And unfortunately, I don't remember what they were. I know they were, obviously call them typos, but they were things that needed to be clarified on the face as far as for the title.
What about the streets, like phase 6B2 shows a north-south street between lots 133 and 132. On your next page, there is no street between 132 north-south on 6B2.
Right.
Wow.
I don't, and then I know that 6B3 is not on the table right now, but it's different from what you're showing us on 6B3 under construction as far as the lots north, east, 126, 127, and 137 on 6B3. So which one of these three are we actually looking at? What's gonna happen?
One on your left there with all the units is conceptual.
This is conceptual?
Yeah.
This is the clip from the plat.
Can you show us the one that is actually, that's conceptual?
That's the conceptual.
That's the real.
That's the plat.
Okay. So that's not matching the conceptual, but that's what we're gonna get.
Just so you can see the relationship between them now.
Okay.
Yeah, the alleyway, and that would be between, it looks on this like it's street F in between 132, 133.
Correct.
I can't remember the reasoning for that going away, but it might be some reorientation in 6B3 with some of the lots, if they discovered that they need that alleyway.
Well, we need to be able to articulate that when we talk about this, because that's the one that backs right into Southern Oaks.
Correct.
It's a north-south street that actually isn't going to be there.
Okay, but we need to be able to, any agreements that we made, any changes that we made, when we come to the table, especially when it's final, and especially when we get to 6B3, it's all got to line right up.
What I'm worried about, or I'm thinking that when they redesign anything on this plot, is it affect a old grandfather tree? I mean, what does it affect that they just turn around and say, well, we had to redirect the street, that's why we lost those two trees. I'm worried about.
Deborah, do you want to?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, a lot of the changes were actually to save trees that were not originally planned to be saved in the PSP that was approved.
Okay.
And so as we started to get into the engineering and married all of that together, we, even Mike Morris, who was involved, he said, hey, if you move this road this way and pull this way a little bit, you should be able to save some trees. And so when we could do that, we've done that. So we actually ended up saving several trees, especially when you get to 63, we took the road off of the West Orange Trail boundary, so that we could actually save the trees that were there versus.
What is Mike Morrissey using to figure out that he's saving a tree based on redirection? You guys have an aerial that Mike Morrissey surveys for the trees and say, let's move.
We have a tree survey that we do, and that was originally done. And so, a lot of the plan actually had impacted those. And we said, hey, if we can shift these slightly.
So do you transpose that over the actual plotted streets and lots?
Yes, and they go out and walk, they've gone out and walked the site.
With an arborist too.
With an
A lot of
arborist.
these trees aren't actually healthy enough to be saved.
Basically, you can see the lot lines are, the street lines are right when you're standing there, right where the tree is.
Okay,
So you can tell whether you want to push it over a little bit or whatever you need.
I just wanted to find out how he's determining that.
Yeah, these little gadgets they got out there are pretty darn amazing.
That's all in our engineered plans that Mike reviews as well, that we have to have a survey that shows the overlay on trees, what the trees we're trying to say, what are options.
Yeah, and you know, that's in our favor and in your favor to be able to say, we made this move and it saved this tree. You know, I don't know how deep in the minutia you want to get, but we've got to be able to say, per the agreement, we did these things.
There's a lot of those.
I agree.
I know,
I have to say,
Well, that's,
I know.
that's your point.
that's my point.
I understand they've been working extremely hard to save trees here
Right.
and everywhere.
I know, and I am, thoroughly pleased. I mean, I know there was one hiccup, but, thoroughly pleased. But there were, and this was before your time, very, very long, detailed discussions in public meetings. And there are people who have memories like elephants about the agreements and they should, because it backs right up to their house. So we need to be able to say, yes, we've got that agreement. Yes, it's in place. Or look what we did. We moved this road slightly and it saved another tree. Because
Some of that evidence show up here one day. The citizens would love to see that and hear that.
Because trust me, there are people who, and we all know who they are, and they've been very helpful to us and made some really good suggestions that are going to be looking at this going, yeah, this is what we said. They'll remember.
Yeah, all the discussions we've been having is making sure that any changes are in favor of, positive favor to the town.
Right. And I know we're doing it.
Right.
I have no doubt we're doing it. I want to be able to articulate it.
Understood.
That's it.
There is something that's being considered with the 6B3. When that plat comes in, there's a connection there at Mackey, and there's a whole stand of trees that are right there.
Mhm.
So there may be, that connection may not happen at that point to save those trees along that edge. And it's, again, another one of those ideas that's positive. So that's something that we can show and be able to articulate
Spirit.
very easily with the 6B3 when that comes through. So that'll be one example that we can use, because it's, you can see right there from Mackey as you're looking to the east.
That will go really far.
So
Especially with-
we will make a point of when that plat comes forward, of making that known so that we can show. And then phase 7 will require some additional discussion. And it will also talk about maybe possibly bringing the buffer a little bit bigger and some tree save. So that will be definitely a multiple step discussion that we can show, because that's the point that a lot of people are looking at, is this phase 7.
Right. And even if,
So that Star Street section is going to be like a fine tooth comb. People.
So those two, we are very, very aware of that. And so those discussions with the phase 7 will be something that we can then put out to talk about the things that have been happening. So I totally agree with you. And those two specific areas that I'm talking about, we will make sure that we articulate those very clearly.
and if we do the work on the front end, even if people don't show up for the meeting, there are so many avenues that we can put it out.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I know residents who will hang me from a tree, and the rest of you too, if we don't do this the way we said we would.
Absolutely. And Deborah's been great. And we've had a lot of discussions on phase 7 specifically, and there'll be more. And so when we bring that to you, we
It'd just be nice to say, hey, this is what we talked about. This is what we're doing.
But phase 6B3 has one point of discussion, and then phase 7 will have some bigger.
quite a bit more. Okay. Well, that makes sense because you're further away from it.
But it looks like there's no buffer on 6B3 in the West Orange Trail. It's just right up next to the trail.
That's how the site plan was set up. This isn't any different than the site plan, but we'll bring 6B3 and you'll be able to look a little more in detail what that buffer is.
Are those, and we'll talk about that when we get there, but are those, you going to have houses facing the trail on 6B3? Okay. I heard anecdotally that the houses that face the trail were not that popular.
How interesting. The ones that exist today.
Yeah, and
I wonder how popular they were.
I would buy one of those houses in a minute and I would never leave my front porch. I'd be like that little.
But when I'm running by, they're sweating.
Yeah. Hey, Sam. Yeah. So anyway,
That's good. and
we
bad,
digress.
because if you have dogs,
mhm.
you don't want to be right on there. I used to be able.
Oh, no.
I used to be able to be, the trail was right visible from my house before all the building came along, and my dogs drove me and everybody crazy until they got enough to do it, so.
So anyway, did we make a motion? No, we did not. Okay, I need a motion, please.
I will make the motion to accept resolution 2021-03 for Oakland Park.
Are there any stipulations?
No, I think we covered that, didn't we? The survey and comments are all
Yeah.
there.
All right, I need a second.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, any comments? All right, Joseph, you're good?
Yes.
All right, any questions or comments from the audience? Yeah, bring it back to the table. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Yay. Okay. All right.
Thank you,
Now
ma'am.
down to town manager report and Parker. Tread carefully.
It's been very good while you were gone. We've been saving it for you.
I've got a lot and Parker's involved with a lot of my comments, so he can kind of.
So we'll blame it on him.
That's mean, Steve.
So we had the community meeting last week on the 8th with the residents for the septic to sewer, the 2 blocks that we're doing the septic to sewer project. I believe we had about 16 or 18 people that showed up. We got 14 signatures for the temporary construction easements. It was a very, very positive meeting with residents. Mike also met with them on Saturday. I think he got another 4 signatures. We've got to get these temporary construction easements so we can do work on private property. So we're working through that situation. But the meetings have been very positive. We've got people now calling and showing some interest and other people outside of the zone that are very interested in sewer also. So,
Oh, yeah. And a lot of them are in Winter's Landing.
so, this is an incremental process that's going to take some time to bring sewer across the developed areas of town. And it is a very expensive endeavor. So
And we got to figure that out.
we got to continue to work through the grant process and to be able to do that. So, but we are very fortunate with this project. With that, we're also having the ribbon cutting for the project on Friday at 1:30. I'm not sure if you want to speak at the ribbon cut.
That's not this Friday, it's the next Friday, right?
It's this Friday. Yeah, it's the 16th,
What time?
1:30.
I'm trying to think what's on my calendar. I was thinking it was next week.
You
Yeah,
look
with-
tired. There's nothing on your calendar.
I wish. I wish. Let me get back to you.
Yeah, we can talk later about it, but, so we're having the ribbon cutting on Friday at 1:30. We do have some dignitaries coming from St. John's and from DEP.
I should be there if I can.
And so please, anybody that's, that can make it, please come out. I believe it's on everybody's calendars.
I'll be in North Carolina.
I'm pretty certain I'm open. I know I looked at it but for some reason, I just thought it was next week, not tomorrow or not this Friday. Okay.
I had a coffee with the manager last week, but I only had one person on the call. The last 2 months have been pretty, summertime. So I am not doing one in August, and we'll pick it back up in September.
It's kind of like the chamber. They don't do a meeting in July. And generally, they would do their planning session in August. So because you can't get a quorum,
Yeah, it's hard to get people. So I figured there'll still be vacations going on and people getting back to school and so on and so forth. So I will pick the meetings back up in September. Mike and I attended a pre-construction meeting with the Florida Turnpike today for the widening project. It's goes from, we got a huge agenda. I didn't send that to commissioners this morning, but there were 38 items that they went through this morning. I will just read a couple of things to you. So the total contract amount for this project is $162 million. The contract time is 1,678 days, which is 4.5 years. The date that they put this out to bid was March 23rd. The award date was April 12th. Contract execution, April 28th. Notice to proceed was May 25th.
Who got it? Did we know?
Junior Davis is the contractor.
Okay.
And the anticipated construction start is no later than September 22nd, 2021.
For 4.5 years.
You know, considering what our roundabout cost, that sounds darn low.
Well, they're just getting started. This project consists of 6.2 miles of roadway and bridge widening and reconstruction of Florida's Turnpike from State Road 50 north of Hancock Road. It includes bridge construction, milling, resurfacing, signing, pavement marking, signalization, ITS, lighting, landscaping, modifications to toll facilities. So the current toll facilities at Highway 50, the canopies within a year of the start of this project, those canopies will be demolished. They're going to put up these little, I forget what they call them. Gantry things that take the pictures of your plate or.
Is that the metal looking?
Yes.
Like they have on the 429?
Yes. So those canopies will be demolished. You've seen how they've
You know how many times they have rebuilt those?
Just wait. I got more to talk about with that in a second, but those canopies will disappear. And the new gantries will be put in and new toll equipment. We've got contact information for DOT. JBS Engineering is doing the CEI. Junior Davis is doing the construction. We also have the contact information for the PIO. They are going to be doing some pilings and having to drive those pilings. So they're planning on doing those during the day. But they do have some that will be going in the medians that may have to happen at night, and there's no other way around it. Just to let you know.
So that would affect the apartments, Trailside,
Oakland
Tall Island.
All of that. Longleaf.
Longleaf. Okay.
Generally, like I said, they plan on doing those during the day, but there are some that they may have to do at night just for safety.
Did they say length of time?
For the pilings?
Yeah.
No, we didn't get that much detail.
Okay.
They are looking at
Big deal.
a September to October timeframe to demolish the current bridge, Oakland Avenue Bridge over the Turnpike. September, October. They will give us 2 weeks notice prior to the demolition, and they already have a detour plan. We'll let them implement their detour plan. Should it be cumbersome or ineffective, we will speak with them, but they do have an engineered detailed detour plan that they will be using for the project. We're going to get an electronic copy I can send out, but we will be in contact with them and we'll put out as much information as we can through our social media, but it is a turnpike project. It's funded through the state. Does have no town.
The Turnpike is notorious for not taking any feedback.
And they are under their own rules as far as when they can work, when they can't work. They're allowed to work at night. They don't have to follow county or town ordinances for that. They are planning on doing Monday through Friday, 7 to 5, and probably on Saturdays as needed.
And see, I've never understood that. Why don't they do it at night?
So more expensive at night, but so just to kind of put a few of those bits of information out there, but September, October is the timeframe when that span will be demolished, and it'll be about 12 months out of service. They'll put the new span in, and then the pedestrian bridge will go out.
Is that at the same time, are they going to demolish the bike
No,
bridge that stays?
it's sequential. So they start with this one,
Okay,
they'll replace it, then they'll do the pedestrian one,
okay.
and then replace it. And what they'll do is they'll route the pedestrian traffic onto the new road bridge because it's going to be much wider. It'll have 8-foot shoulders. So they'll have a maintenance of traffic plan for the pedestrians.
Mhm.
And then they move on down so the 455, that's the one that they're really concerned about, that one also, because that bridge is going to go out, which is the one that gets you to Montverde.
Okay,
So again, the bridges are going out sequentially over that 4.5 years over time. So anyways, it's a lot of information. I get that. I just want to
And-
record that.
right. I mean, we know. And, it's unfortunate that it is so far away from when they did, I call it 535, whatever you want to call that road
Yeah.
next to, where the Publix is, there's that bridge. That bridge was closed forever. That road was closed forever.
It's definitely going to be painful.
Oh, yeah. Well, the roundabout's going to be painful too, so.
And just so you don't think that this will be the end of the turnpike, they are in the process now of doing a PD&E study for the area from the turnpike headquarters to State Road 50, and looking at how they may widen that, how they're going to reconstruct the interchange at 429. But there's early stages.
Why?
Traffic.
Well, it does back up, but, if they need to do a PD&E study of whether they need to widen this turnpike all the way to 75, here's their study. Yes, you need to do it.
Anyways, they're going through this PD&E study. We had a meeting with them today. They are doing a major
That's so ridiculous.
public meeting, a virtual one on August 10th, an in-person meeting on August 12th. They've got alternatives that they want people to weigh in on. So we'll put it out on our social media. It's important because some of the alternatives that they have here at State Road 50 impacts those toll plazas and reroutes some of the traffic. And they even have a flyover as one of the alternatives that would take you all the way into the Lake County line. So there's some things definitely people need to get out and express their opinions. You can also go to the project webpage at www.turnpike408to50.com. And I'll get this to Elise so she can put it in the.
Yeah, we should put that up once a month.
And this is probably 8 to 10 years out before this project would be funded and happen. But again, it's this perpetual, under construction.
I remember when it was all 2 lanes, so.
Is there a request for the signs for it to say Oakland?
Yes, that's.
Garden and coming south on 75.
I've made that very, very clear.
Doesn't say Oakland.
Right.
Yeah.
I
I don't know if it'll happen as part of this project or something else, but as they're redoing the signage, they do know that I have expressed very clearly that we want to be.
And Winter Garden got left out, essentially, because
Going from that way.
exit 272 is not Winter Garden.
Right. They got it backwards, or they got it over on this side.
They put Ocoee up and
the bridge, it has nothing on it, but when you're coming down south on 75, you see the village.
Yeah.
The bridge looks beautiful with that stone they put, it says the villages. You come to Oakland, there's nothing. I mean.
Well, the villages probably paid for that.
yeah,
So.
we got, they were going to put in that plain bridge, at least we got something.
Well, I am trying to get some signage on the new pedestrian bridge when they put the West Orange Trail stuff up. I want to have something on there. I have brought that up and I've made it very clear that we want to be, in prominence on the signs as you're coming in. So I don't know where that'll go, but it's been made very clear to Turnpike Enterprise staff a couple of times. Even when I was up in Tallahassee talking with the chief of staff for DOT through our lobbyist, I made that. So,
Nice.
but just put that out there. And then Couple other things. There's a legislative update on Thursday evening with the Central Florida Black Caucus that I will be attending.
Good.
It's at 6:30. It's going to be at the Lakeshore Center. They've got Senator Bracy and Representative Thompson are going to be part of that. And then we do have the community meeting tomorrow night for the Oakland mixed use project at 4th Street. So that'll be tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. That is a developer driven meeting that we're just
Hosting,
space to
giving them space.
and then I already talked about the groundbreaking. So that's it in a nutshell. I know it's a lot, but I'm trying to get this turnpike.
It's not gonna slow down anytime soon. So.
Trying to get this turnpike information out as many people as I can, because it's going to be a very painful process. And then the bids are due back on the roundabout on Thursday, I believe. Yeah, Thursday. So hopefully next week we'll have an idea on how many bids we got and whether they're in budget and so on and so forth.
All right. Okay, Sal, we'll let you start.
Are we allowed to come to that tomorrow do we have to post it if multiple commissioners come to the?
No, as long as you're not discussing among yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, RSVP to it, but you gotta go in and make sure.
Okay. That's all I got.
I'm good.
Mikey?
Just the update, and we'll talk about it more, I think, next meeting with masks in school and rules and stuff.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Orange County Public Schools just voted to make it optional tonight.
They did, and Jerry Demings wants everybody to start wearing masks inside again.
Especially with large crowds.
Yeah,
Inside, like.
So,
he wants people back in masks.
but he can't make the decision.
He can't mandate, well, he can't make the decision for the schools and he can't mandate that either.
So,
But,
optional.
but we're talking optional for schools.
Yeah.
That they're not reading off the same page.
Anyway, that's just the update for that, so that we have it, and we'll talk about it with.
So they did vote to make it optional.
They did vote to make it optional.
So one question is, do we know, or two questions. Do we know what other counties in Florida are doing?
We know what I can tell you what other counties in our.
Hey. I don't know if you can hear me. This is Pam.
We can hear
But
you.
yes, actually, all,
Pam.
Orange County was one of the only outstanding schools to not have already voted it as optional. All have moved for it to be optional. They were the latest to the game.
Okay, and so I'm assuming that we're following
Yes,
their lead.
at this point.
So, well, I actually had a recommendation for today, prior to their meeting, to move to have it optional. It does obviously, it makes things easier when we're not an adversarial to them. But
Yes.
we decided to move it to next week's consent or next meeting's consent, just so that there was an opportunity to hear their decision, as well as for Vice Mayor Satterfield to be present, because his schedule was precarious in July. So
Yeah, he's retired, but.
so
Gotcha.
yeah, so it's going to be on consent, just so that we have an official stance from the commission next week. But my recommendation is also optional. I believe that at least 90% of our parent families want there to be none, but so we have a very, very small population of individuals that would want it, but
Okay.
that's all.
All right, thanks, Pam.
You're welcome.
You're done.
Yes, ma'am, that was it.
Joseph?
Just, as was stated earlier, the Tri-County doesn't have any meetings either until August. And so everything's kind of quiet. And I'll be at the Black Caucus meeting. I was one of the ones that helped put that together. So I'll be at the Black Caucus meeting on Thursday night.
Great. I think that's wonderful.
The the committee meetings for the Florida League is, the second committee meeting is this coming Friday. So hopefully I'll be finished with I'm on the Economic Development Committee. Hopefully I could get out of there and get down to the groundbreaking at 1:30. So.
Is it still at the Marriott? The,
No, they moved it to the, it's at the Hyatt Airport this time. So a couple people are complaining about it. So, yeah.
Huh.
It's at the Marriott, at the Hyatt. Yeah, they had it at the Hyatt a long time ago, and they got away from that and they
So
brought it
it's
back.
in the airport. Parking will be rather expensive.
Yeah, 10 o'clock on Friday. This is the second one, and the third one, the last one, will be at the annual convention. So we'll be at the Marriott World Center in August for the. Yeah.
Okay. I don't have it. I don't have anything. Trying to catch back up, and I think, you know, things are moving along great, and it's not going to slow down, and we're doing the right stuff. I don't care what anybody says on Facebook.
We're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back, see your faces. Joseph, I think it's time for you to do your ceremonial duty.
If all hearts and minds are satisfied, let's adjourn. It is now 8:25 p.m. on the East Coast. Thank you, beautiful people.
See ya.
Thank you.
All right. See you tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
The Oakland Community